The family of jailed former Pakistani Prime Minister and cricket great Imran Khan says he is struggling with isolation and psychological strain. His sisters have been allowed to see him in jail after weeks being blocked from visitors. Khan was convicted for corruption in separate cases, including selling state gifts and accepting land as part of a bribe. I spoke with his sister Aleem Khan a short time ago, and she says her brother is suffering mentally while in isolation.
We haven't been allowed to. The last time our family or the lawyers were able to meet Imran Khan was on the 16th of October in a jail trial. They've set up a courtroom in the jail for Imran Khan's trials, and we must have maybe been in that jail court for 400 or 500 days in the past 2 years and 2 months. So that was the last day of his trial. One of his last trials in jail court was on the 16th. It was the last day. And the reason we've been able to visit him over the past 10 months was in the jail court, because our lawyers refused to continue with the trial unless it was an open trial and we were allowed to, our family was allowed to be in the trial. So the problem has been since the jail trial ended. They haven't allowed us over the past 10 months to visit with our brother. He's been in solitary confinement. It is considered torture according to Pakistan law. It's considered torture more than 5 days, and some say it's 15 days, but it's considered torture if you're in solitary confinement. And Bushra Bibi, his wife, and him are both in solitary confinement. And my sister was allowed to visit him only because we protested outside on the road. We would sit outside for hours, and then they would say they pick and choose, and they would allow my younger sister, Dr. Uzma, to visit, keeping in mind what we are protesting right now is that when my sister visited him, she says he was in very good health, because understand, he's in prison. He does have access to a sort of stationary bicycle. He has a stationary bicycle, and he exercises. So he exercises and is a person with minimum food, like nutritional needs. So he's very fit physically. I think my sister, as she said, looked better right now than he was before he went into prison. But that's not the point. She said he was so upset and so angry. He says the mental torture that he and his wife, Bushra, are being subjected to is worse than physical torture, because isolation is considered the worst form of mental torture. And he was very angry. And of course, he sent out a message. He said about the chief of army staff, I think now a field marshal, that he was very angry about him. And I think he said that, he's mentally not correct in his head because of what he's doing. And he also said that if anything happens to me or my wife, it's going to be solely Asim Munir is responsible for it.
Yes. Now, you and your sisters have been staging protests, sit-in protests outside the Adiala prison. Can you tell us what it was like being out there?
Well, we have been sitting outside Adiala since April, every Tuesday. We have a right to see our brother, and infrequently, maybe once a month. You see, what they've done is there's 6 family members. We have lots of court orders from several courts. 6 family members for Imran Khan, 6 family members for Bushra Bibi, and 6 lawyers can visit with him on Tuesday. And 6 party members, known as friends, as a category called friends, on a Thursday. So basically, in a week, he should be able to meet 24 people minimum. What they've done over the past 1 year, they've been shrinking the visits. Sometimes 6 of us family members would go in to the jail. We wait outside for several hours, and they would pick and choose and maybe allow 3 in. Or next time they started with maybe 4, then they came down to 3. And then it all shrunk down to 2 of my sisters being allowed. I'm generally not allowed. But now it's shrunk to basically no visits. And they keep saying that, oh, because my sister went in and made a political statement, and all the television channels, all the government ministers were coming on air and saying my sister made a political statement. She's come out and said that he's being subjected to mental torture through solitary confinement. And how is that a political statement? And he did say, if anything happens to me, Asim Munir will be responsible. So we did say that, first of all, it's not a political statement because Asim Munir is a government servant. So it's nothing to do with Nawaz Sharif or Zardari or the politicians. So why all she did was she brought out my brother's message. How else is he going to? How is that a crime if she gives his message to the media?
Why do you then believe you are being prevented from those regular visits, or the frequency of visits had gone down beyond what the High Court is allowing, that is twice a week on Tuesday and Thursday?
Well, the problem is Imran Khan. The problem is that he is, his voice, he's representing at the moment conservatively 85 to 90% of the country. Ask me, I am going to be in a trial tomorrow. And what is the trial? That 22nd November, I brought out a message, my brother's message. Clearly, I gave a message to the media, and the message said, Imran Khan is saying that everybody should stand up against a tyrannical system, stand up for the rule of law, for democracy, because they have a stolen mandate, because it's the people's vote that was stolen, not Imran Khan's vote. It was the people's vote. And the third was human rights. He said, come out for a peaceful protest as per your constitution. And I am now going to be charged in an anti-terrorist court and most probably convicted. Yesterday, the channels were saying my brother and my sisters, myself, are going to be charged for sedition and treason. You take Asim Munir's name, and I'm taking his name right now. If you take his name, that's the only treason in Pakistan is if you take his name. You think this is sustainable in current times? Maybe it was sustainable 50 years ago where there was no media or social media. Now Pakistan is 110 million young people who have access to social media, and they're using social media. There's no hired people in Imran Khan's party, or we don't have any hired people. They are just people how do they fight back? They are using the social media. And the tyranny, yesterday, 3 weeks ago, the police dragged my sister. She's 71 years old, my elder sister, and she passed out. They were dragging her. These women police dragged her. She passed out for no reason at all. They're sitting on a sidewalk. Then the next day, there were thousands of people who turned up. And then again, they allowed my sister. When she brought this message out, when my brother says, Asim Munir will be responsible. And yesterday, we were all sitting there. We'd lit fires over there. People had lit fires over there because it was very cold. It's a December. It's a 9th and 10th of December night. And it's very cold over here. It's single-digit temperatures. So they were lit a few fires. People were distributing food. There were children, many women, or every generation, young children, older men, and then they brought a water cannon. Now, it's really cold. And this is the first time we've experienced tear gas a lot of times, but this is the first time we experienced a water cannon. And what we realized, it is not about getting cold, like getting wet and freezing in the cold. It is the power of that cannon. People were flying into the stones on the road. My sisters fell. Both my sisters were injured. They both had sort of injuries to their hands. And one of the members of parliament, his name is Shahid Khattak, when he was struggling in that water to help my sisters, he fell somewhere and he's fractured his leg.
As you told us, you have been charged with terrorism over last year's protest. You are facing trial. You say it's likely that you will be convicted and jailed. Are you prepared for what's to come?
It's an anarchic situation. So he has to be protected for the people of Pakistan. And we are standing there for him. So now they're going to put me in jail first, and most probably followed by my sisters. So we are standing with our brother. We are proud of him that he's standing for Pakistan. He's standing for Pakistanis. And we'll stand with him for a cause. And we don't feel any fear from it because we believe in Allah. Allah says in our religion, it's very clearly said, life is not in our hands. We cannot determine when we die. It's only God that determines when you die. So we are free from why should we be fearful of people who themselves are so scared that they've isolated my brother just in case no Pakistanis who are desperate to hear him speak should not hear his message.
Aleem Khan, we will leave it there, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.